Kenny, yo, what screen are we on? Hold on. My computer does this sometimes. There you are. Right. I can't hear you.
My bad.
We're scuff screamers, eh? I don't know why.
Can you see me?
Oh, it's all good. Yeah, I can see you.
All right, cool.
My apologies. To begin with on this one because I only just woke up like 25 minutes ago. But I'm ready. I'm ready to fucking go. I was up all night editing videos, bro. I was like so busy. Because I don't know whether you guys know this, but I've been doing a heap of additional edits with other community members. So like basically not just doing like promotional work for or like social content for my own channel, but I've been doing social content for other people's channels as well. So like, you know me, I always take on too much shit because that's just the way I am. So I need to I don't have any chill. I always like just take everything to the max. So I've been doing that for a little bit, and yeah, it just means less sleep, which is like I didn't get a lot of sleep to begin with, so it doesn't really matter, does it? But it's a challenge, you know. I like to be challenged. That's the whole point,
bro. Listen, when you have an engine like that, you gotta rev that shit up, man. You gotta fucking dude. An M3 wasn't built for joyrides. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
an M3 was built to fucking go hard and go strong.
Yeah, no.
It's all good, man. You got a strong engine, bro. That's what keeps you going. You put challenges in front of you and you tackle them, put them away.
Well, that's the whole like excitement about today's topics. You know what I mean? Because like that's basically what we live every day. Like, you know, I mean, for me anyway. Like personally speaking, like entrepreneurship is like my life. You know, everything I do revolves around it. Do you know what I mean? Because
yeah,
I mean, I don't. Again, I don't have any off button. You know what I mean? I always want to find the next thing that I'm going to be doing. Like that's the reason, you know, I go through business and I start new things and I try and, you know, adapt myself to whatever it is that I'm interested in at the time, and then I see if I can do that, and you know, like that's the whole category of topic we're talking about today is basically my life. So it's kind of like a cool topic to talk about.
Yeah, well, we're gonna be talking about each other's lives, really, man, because the same thing, man. Same thing, bro. The I know it's like we should probably at the end of the series, we should probably see how many times you and I said the same thing, but in like slightly different ways.
I'm gonna montage it.
or how many times I said, you know, Adam, I was thinking the same thing.
yeah, dude.
I feel like I always do that. No, but I can relate to though, obviously, you know, like even though I technically work for a corporation in a lot of ways, I mean, they don't bother me. Like I won't hear my VP for an entire quarter.
Yeah.
You know, like that's unheard of. Who has a career like that? I'll tell you who. Somebody who embodies the entrepreneurial spirit, treats their what they do for a living like it's their business and it's their empire. You know, and then they go forward. So yeah, man, there's so much to unpack. And by the way, guys, just like every other podcast that we've done, we just have little cliff notes that we agree on and you know we get excited about and we kind of just go with it.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Which makes it a lot of fun. But hey, you know what? I don't think we've done this, or maybe we haven't. I've just been sleeping at the wheel this entire time. But what's your week been like, man? Why don't you share with everybody maybe something about this week that you're excited about? And if you're wondering if I'm setting myself up because I want to share something about my week, you're absolutely right.
I figured. Well, instead of you asking me, why don't I ask you, Ken? What's your week like? What do you got planned?
Hey, you know what? I'm really glad you asked, man, because there's a lot of exciting things going on. No, look, you know, I'm along with being a gamer and you know, the cheesy dad and all that good stuff. I'm also, you know, train my little boy in soccer. I'll make a long story short because I know I can go forever about this, and I know people don't just want to hear about my son, but I officially received a letter from the football club Valencia that
Mm.
my son has been accepted into their U8 league for football soccer
Oh wow.
fall 2023. He's only 6 and
Wow.
he's been accepted into the U8. So I am like
That's huge.
overwhelmed with emotion because I mean, dude, like I was there with him, 3 years ago when he first kicked the soccer ball, and I was the first person. I was like, dude, that is not natural what that little kid just did. And every parent says that, but I swear I'm not being that weird dad who's like, oh my god, my kid's the best. Like that is just unnatural what he just did.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was really exciting because, um, we worked hard for it. Like this kid is going to be me times a million.
That is
6 years
fucking
old
amazing,
in
honestly.
snow. Let me tell you something because I hope he sees this one day, like these podcasts that we did because um I've trained him in snow, in rain, at night with barely any visibility. Never once, Adam, never once did he say, "Why am I doing this?" Or "What
Just
is this for?" I mean, don't get me wrong. From the beginning, I told him why we're doing this. And from the beginning, I told him there's two kinds of people. There's people who are going to watch the game, and then there's people who are going to play the game. The people who are, as you see your friends over there on their bicycles in the playground, they're going to watch the game.
yeah.
Your friends who goof around in school, your friends who don't take life seriously, your friends who don't really your anybody who's not here, Brendan, they're gonna watch the game.
Yeah.
You, you and the very few people around this world that are doing what you're doing right now, you're gonna play in the game. So
Fuck
anyway,
yeah.
he never complained. But isn't that funny though? Like when you think about that, like how relatable that is, though. You know what I mean? For all these people, like, oh my god, I don't know, like, I can't think like you. I'm not like you. Like that's not fucking true. It's because you don't want what I want. If
Yeah.
you really want, if you really want what other people don't have or what most people don't have, then you need to be willing to do what most people don't do. And we've
Mm-hmm.
said that plenty of times. All right,
100%.
I'm about to digress, so I stopped myself.
No, dude, like that is like completely ties into exactly what we're talking about. Like, you're creating your own future. Do you know what I mean? Like your son
Hell
doesn't
yeah.
know it, but you were like putting him in the direction of greatness, and he doesn't even know yet. And when he does discover that, he'll be like, "Dad," he'll be like, you helped me out. Like, so this is the thing with when it comes to a lot of people view people who like parents who like push their kids early for sport as kind of like, oh, you pushed them too hard, you pushed them too hard. Well, kids are too soft, you know what I mean? So maybe you've
Hell
got to
yeah,
just
dude.
maybe you just got to push them towards something that is going to benefit them in the long run. Like, you know what I mean? So like, and if he loves it and if he's passionate about it and he loves to kick that ball around, why wouldn't you encourage it? Like, you'd be crazy not to. You know what I mean? If
Uh,
he's got a talent that is outside of the box, let him thrive and give him every opportunity possible. Like that's absolutely parenting 101. Like, you
Let me
know?
tell you something. There's still hope out there too, Adam, because you know how like so what we are in that society where there's almost this toxicity towards like wanting to pursue more, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
wanting to. There's this weird stigma around it, but
Like just be happy with
the
what you have already. You know what I mean? Like,
right,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. So the letter, right? Before the actual acceptance letter, every parent who has a kid in the organization, and you're talking about hundreds of parents because there's hundreds of kids in the
Right.
club, gets we all got the same letter at the same time that basically says this is where I respect it and I'm so happy that like there's still people like this. The owner basically said this: listen, guys, this is hard. I love you all. Okay. I really do. I love that you're all here. We're all a family. Okay. But when it comes to competing, we want to put out the very best of us on the field. Okay. So we just have to accept that there's going to be certain kids at a young age that show certain bits of excellence, desire,
Mm-hmm.
enthusiasm, and leadership. And it's those kids and their parents that support them. So like he put it out there like, look, guys, I'm gonna pick those of you that I noticed that you're here for it, you're in it, like because because that's what he wanted. He told me from the beginning because I'll never forget the one time my son made like a smart comment because he had 3 goals and I ripped him by his shirt. I took him aside and I told him, don't you ever speak to it. You go apologize to your opponent, because without your opponent, you wouldn't even have the chance to be on this field. Like, I was so like in his face, and I'll never forget all the parents looking at me. But you know, when you're so like hyped up, you're like, fuck you. That's my son. The coach respected me for that. And he told me, he goes, dude, he goes, like, the fact that you just like you did that in front of everybody and you were unapologetic and you didn't care, like, dude, he's like, that's such an old school way of thinking. And you know, we talk about that too, about how, like, you know, like new school way is like, hey, you know, just, are you having fun? Are you having fun?
Yeah.
Because as long as you're having, like, and dude, and look, of course, you know, your passion has to be there. You have to be having fun. But guess what, bro? Guess what? To get to the beauty, you gotta fucking grind with the ugly. Like, that's just the truth, man.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree. Well, the competitive sport is a perfect opportunity to create two classes of kids, basically. Well, one is the bunch of kids who just want to just run around and chase the ball. That's Division 4, you know, like, you know. But if you want the kids who want it and they want to pursue it as a career, and they really are gifted at kicking that ball around, that's Division 1, and it's a different animal. It's not the same game. Do you know what I mean? I used to referee state league soccer in Australia, right? And basically when I was younger, and like that was sort of like because I've had a job since I was 14 years old. Like I'm just the kind of kid who like just wanted to like make my own money and figure it out and do things that I enjoyed. Now I figured out early on that I couldn't kick a ball. So like, but I really liked the game. So I learned the rules, right?
Yeah.
And I learned the rules and I took the referees course, and I started out doing local games. And then I basically, yeah, of course, I couldn't just stay at fucking local leagues, could I? No, I wanted to referee the fucking first grade. Like I got first grade, I got Premier League, and then I started refereeing the state soccer. And state soccer, basically, so I was the New South Wales youth referee. So like basically under the age of 18, I was like refereeing like fully grown men. Like, do you know what I mean?
That it doesn't surprise me.
No.
I mean, you know, like in anything that you do, clearly you've always had that drive to want to be the best at that.
I love
Whatever that
learning
one
rules.
thing is.
I don't know what
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is. I love following rules and learning rules and then figuring out why they're the rules. You know what I mean? Like
Dude,
I think
that must have been pretty exciting though. I mean, to see basically the best talent in Wales. I mean, that's pretty exciting.
it was good. It was really good. And it was a real learning experience too for character building. So like I don't know whether you would have been to a soccer game before. The abuse that you cop from people, especially as a referee, is ridiculous. All right. So like, okay, I want you to picture this. A 17-year-old or an 18-year-old, myself, refereeing a bunch of fully grown men, I'm going to say between the ages of 30 and 40, right? Playing professional soccer, right? And on the sidelines, you have fans. So I'm talking like cultural fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
A stadium full of them, right? And this is basically Western versus Eastern Sydney, okay?
Right.
Which is like one of the biggest rivalries you can have, right? I refereed this game, and the abuse I copped during that game was more than anyone will cop in a lifetime, bro. So like, but you know what? I wasn't doing a bad job or anything. It was just because they were very passionate about their sport. Do you know what I mean? And so, and that's just the way it is. And I respect it, but at the same time, you know, the rules are the rules. And like, I'm very rule orientated when it comes to doing my job, because that's why I built up to state league, because I was good at it, right? And I just took it very seriously, and like probably too seriously, to be honest, because I was just very like I wouldn't let much go. I really was like a strict rules soccer. I wouldn't control the game, but I would point the game, like, you know, I was just good at it, and I'm not afraid to say it, because like I have fucking 4 referee of the year trophies on the wall to tell you that I was good at it, right? So I
were you a head ref? Like did you get the final say, or did you have to?
Yeah, I was head ref at like 18.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was head ref, and all my lines people were like in their 30s and 40s, which is the funniest part in the world. So I was head referee, and all these other referees didn't get, like, they had to be my sidekicks, basically.
They didn't have it.
Like,
Hey, look, they didn't have it.
they didn't like it, but like, you know, getting told what to do by an 18-year-old. But I mean, I was a very mature 18-year-old, so like, I guess it was. But anyway, long story short, the abuse that I copped during that day actually is a character building thing, right? So all the abuse I copped during being a referee, I actually appreciated it because it actually made me a harder person. Do you know what I mean? So like, when someone else would say something to me like, they would abuse me or something in public or whatever it might be in another social setting, I would just kind of laugh it off and walk away because I was just like hardened from that experience. And like during high school it was the same. Like, I was pretty heavily bullied in high school, but I didn't really let it get to me because I kind of just walked off and just like did my own thing. I was like, all right, you're just, I wouldn't look at it as like, oh my God, I have to be upset about this. I would look at it as like, no, you're just looking for attention, or you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time, or you're just you're just trying to do this to make yourself feel better. I'm just not going to give you that satisfaction, and so I would just be the person who would walk off and go do something else. So like that's I'm not saying that it didn't affect me like in my childhood. Of course it did. Bullying is bullying, right? But at the end of the day, the satisfaction I got out of seeing those people in later life and seeing that they're just absolute losers. And me being a successful person or like someone who's driven, and I look at them and they look at me and they're like, oh, wow, he turned out all right. I'm like, you're still working in the same bar that you started in when you're 18. So good for you. You know what I mean?
I got bullied in my younger years. In high school, I had a bit of a growth spurt, and I beat all my bullies up. But before that, I got bullied a lot too. But it wasn't until like I would say like late 20s, maybe early 30s. It wasn't until then that I realized how much resilience that was embedded in my character came from that. And it's not that I had carried it with me all that time until then, but I never really appreciated it until then, like,
Yeah.
and not to condone bullying or anything, but like, if you can be a tough kid and you can, you can incorporate strategies that, enable you to just, psychologically block certain things out, have strategies in place so you don't get your ass kicked and things like that. Like, if you can get through it, man, you come out on the other side a
Yeah.
very special kind of person. People underestimate in today's day and age
Mm.
the power of thick skin. And the reason why they do is because we live in such a fucking sensitive society today that
Mm.
like when somebody loses their shit and gets up off their chair and smacks a coworker at the Oscars, oh my God, is the okay? No, you fucking dick. It was a joke. You should have some thick fucking skin. Where's your resilience? You didn't get bullied enough. Sorry.
Oh, I think no, it's a thought process thing. I think when someone, so say you are in the position of being attacked by someone in like a mentally attack, like you know what I mean, like when someone's trying to emotionally or mentally attack you. I think the greatest power you can have is the power to control your own emotion in that sense. So like
Yeah.
if somebody is having a go at you and you are affected by that, they win. You know what I mean? But if someone's having a go at you and you then think you have that thought process that says, okay, why is this person doing this? Right? Not you are the issue. It's why is this person acting like this? It's not you. You are not the problem. You are not the person who should be upset by this. You should be the person who rises above it. And people
Right.
say rise above it like it's I shouldn't react to it. I shouldn't be emotional to it. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you should as soon as someone starts to have a go at you about something and you know that it has nothing to do with you and you know that they're trying to affect you in a way that is outside of what is normal, you have to sit there and I want you to just think that process through. Just be like, okay, instead of being emotional about this and instead of crying about it, instead of getting upset, and instead of letting this person affect my day or my life, just be like, why is this person doing this? Right? Think about what they're going through or what they're doing and why they're doing it. And then use that and just be like empathetic towards that, right? In a way that's the way you rise above it. Instead of just being like, I'm a better person. I don't think that's the case. I think it's just you need to look at that person and be like, okay, what's wrong with your life? Turn it around. What's wrong with your life that causes you to lash out at people like this? Do you know what I mean? Because I
Yeah.
can guarantee you there's something going on with them and they're trying to take it out on you because as we always say, toxicity breeds more toxicity. And people who want to cry poor me's forever, they always want everyone to cry poor me's with them. They can't do it by themselves, because if they're just the sole voice of toxicity, it dies. Okay? So don't fuel it. Just fix it. It's so much
I'm really
easier.
glad that you went there with the empathetic route, because I agree, dude. That's one of the most powerful things you could do as a person, right? Is when somebody, like Adam said, they're having a go at you, and you could you could kind of just stop yourself in that moment and forget about how you feel about the fact that somebody's having a go at you, and just put yourself in their shoes at that moment. You'd be surprised how many times, probably 10 out of 10 times, you could probably be like, you know what, I probably feel the same way this guy feels. It's all good. And then when you can feel that at that moment, then you know right then and there, like, all right, this guy, he's unloading on me, but he's not pissed at me. Like, I got nothing to do with his anger. He's just
Exactly.
feeling a certain kind of way. And at that point, like, you do your thing, man. You smile, you walk away, but you no longer feel the need to respond to it. Yeah, that's the problem. A lot of people, like you said, emotionally, that's emotional intelligence, by the way. But that's another subject we really need to do a podcast on, is emotional intelligence, because, dude, not enough people are like, first of all, it's kind of common sense, but now it's a very studied topic. I always thought it was common sense, like, dude, emotional intelligence, control your emotions, blah blah blah. But there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
And part of it is the power of being empathetic. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
mean,
that's
look, I think we just found our topic for next week, so I'm just going to write that down.
yeah, dude, that's a fun topic, man. Emotional intelligence.
Because I would love to
But
dive
yeah,
into that, just because of everything we talked about already, with the confidence, with perspective, with all the success and stuff, all the things that we've spoken about with mindfulness as well. I think
I
emotional
don't know.
intelligence is a really good tie into all those things, and we can definitely talk about that. Um, anyway, as we do, we always go off on tangents, but they're always relative to what we're speaking about. So we do get back there eventually. It's like a giant train track, right? So we just go around the train track, and then the track changes and we go back towards the other train track. Do you know what I mean? So
That's it.
speaking of which, today's topic, entrepreneurship, is something obviously that both of us share. It's something that we're both interested in. We've been passionate about for a long time. It's sort of like sent our lives in certain directions. And also, I mean, it's kind of like something we kind of live most days. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
because I think for both of us at an earlier age, we both thought to ourselves, I don't have to work the 9 to 5, right? I don't have to do that. I don't have to do this. Why? Like, is there other ways I can do other things? I think that's the way we've always thought. And it's just the out of the box thinking. You know what I mean? So I think I want to dive into that a little bit. But first of all, I mean, when it comes to entrepreneurship, I think most of you understand entrepreneurship is about taking risks. Yeah. It's about taking risks, and it's reaping the rewards from those risks. And basically, a lot of people in life don't want to take risks when it comes to building something, whether it be a business, whether it be a career, whether it be a future, a relationship, whatever it might be. I think a lot of people like to stay in their little bubble, right? And a lot of people are very comfortable in that little bubble. And that's the reason why you have people that say, hey, I'm really, I'm not happy with my work, or I'm not happy with my family, or I'm not happy with my lifestyle, or whatever it might be. But they never branch outside the bubble to change it, and they feel like they're stuck. Do you know what I mean? But the people that have that little entrepreneurial click in their head are always the people that are going to be they're going to thrive in life, and they're going to look at those, and they're going to see those people. Do you know what I mean? So if you're someone stuck in a job, and there's someone else stuck in a job, you don't notice. You know what I mean? You look at that person, you're just like, this is just another person. I don't know what you're talking about. But somebody who's clicked that little entrepreneurial click in their brain, and they've moved above that, and they're like, these two people are stuck. They can see it. You know what I mean? So it's like a something you can learn yourself and develop yourself. It's like taking the red pill in the Matrix. You just gotta be like, oh, I don't have to do this job. I can create my own fucking future. You know what I mean? And people are like, the thing we're going to get into, and the thing I want to talk about in regards to that, obviously, not only workplace environment sections and stuff like this, we're going to go into that now, but I want to sort of dive into, do you know, like, when we go outside of the entrepreneurial brain and people are like, you know, they're all sitting there like, oh, I can't believe I'm doing the same fucking job again. I'm doing this and that and the other and this and that. You've got to help, like, look at other people to help you. Do you know what I mean? Like, even when it comes to money as well, like, people are like, oh, I can't afford to be an entrepreneur. I can't afford to do this. Well, entrepreneurs can't afford to be entrepreneurs. You got to remember that, right? Like, they don't just start with $1 million. Do you know what I mean? They don't just start with like financial backings. They have to find the money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have to work it. They have to figure out how they're going to make it. That's what entrepreneurism is.
Yeah.
You know, that's the risk.
So a lot of it too, right? And I'm gonna go back a little bit because you said something that I like. So a lot of it too has to do with vision. Have you ever seen two people do the same job, but one of them just loves it? I mean, it just does it so easily, like no problem, smile on his face, and the other one's just miserable. Like,
Mm.
and let's like we're the same age, you know, like same kind of social background and everything. But they're just like, they just hate it. It's like torture every minute, and while the other person can't get enough of it. Like what does the red pill do, right? What do the red pill and the blue pill do? They give vision. They give you a vision of and a path of where to go. And that's what a lot of entrepreneurship is it's having the vision of what you want, like knowing like, hey, look, this is what I want. And this is tying to a couple of other topics, and I'm trying not to go there, but this is important here
No, you're good.
because when you have that vision, right? When you have that vision of what you want, and going for it and taking those risks and working, all right, they don't feel like risks and they don't feel like working. I could tie this to the sport analogy, but then I'm gonna go off track. But do you get what I'm saying in terms of the power of just the like in entrepreneurship having a clear sight of what it is that you want doesn't mean that the path is clear, but just knowing that, hey, you know what, man, I want my end result to be this. I could do this either better than that person, or have a new product or whatever it is. I know what that looks like. So everything I'm going to do to get there is going to feel exciting, and I'm going to enjoy it because I know it's getting me one step closer to that end result of having my own business or whatever it is.
Yeah, 100%. And like, well, I mean, we've got. I want to dive in now, and I agree with everything you just said. I want to dive in now to workplace environments because I think it's
Yep.
really important when it comes to entrepreneurship. So
Oh yeah.
the step that you take to get there
Hmm.
is starting where you are now. So
Right.
basically, I want you guys to all come with us on this little journey that I'm going to take you on. This little mind journey that we're gonna discuss right here. Okay, so
Let's do
I'm
it.
going to put myself in your shoes, and you're going to put yourself like in my thought process when it comes to this, right? So think about this: your job right now, guys. Your job right now. The workplace environment that you're in. Okay, describe it to me. Explain it to me. Talk to me about it. All right. Obviously, I just need to. So basically, what we want to discover is the workplace you're in now. Why do you enjoy it? Do you know what I mean? Why do you enjoy it? Why do you not enjoy it? Okay. That's the first question you need to ask yourself. Because at the end of the day, you got to remember it's just a job. Okay. It's just a job. You weren't put on this earth to do that job. Okay. It's just a job. All right. Now you say to me, but it's a stepping stone in my career. All right. That's good. That's a good thing. But the stepping stones don't always have to be like the stepping stones. Do you know what I mean? So stepping stones to what exactly? What do you achieve? What are you trying to achieve? We talked about this in goal orientation last week. So like if you have a goal in mind and you're like, I want to be the manager of this company, right? And you're currently on the floor and you're, working really hard and your boss doesn't give a fuck, right? Your boss is basically just like staring in the opposite direction and giving other people a leg up, and they don't give a shit about what you're doing because you know what, you're doing your job really well, so they don't have to worry about you. Like, so they're just like putting everything on you because they know you can handle the responsibility. You can deal with all the problems. You can take on all his bullshit or her bullshit. And it's like, at the end of the day, it's like they're doing that because you're a good worker, not because you're a bad worker. They're doing that because you're a good worker. They're taking advantage of that, right? And you're thinking to yourself, I do everything right. I'm working hard. I'm doing everything I thought I was supposed to do in this job, and I haven't gone anywhere in however long. The reason is because you're too good at what you do. You need to step past that person, okay? Because you're not the problem. I feel like it's the person that's telling you you're the problem is the problem, right? So that's a toxic workplace. That's the workplace environment you're in. And I say to those people, empower yourself and just be like, you know what? It's time to move on. Okay? Put out your resume, go find another job in a different industry or even in the same industry. Just branch out other places, because I can almost guarantee you, as soon as that superior thinks, oh my God, this person might be leaving, they might just be like, wow, we've got to figure out how we keep this person, okay? And you can use that as a bargaining chip to your next adventure. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's literally so simple. Like, a lot of people in business won't even think about it. They won't even know what you're doing. They will literally fall into your trap. Okay. And it's just, all it is just a trap of basically, because they're thinking for you as an asset, right? And they're using you as an asset and they're piling all their shit onto you. And all of a sudden, the prospect of you not being there as an asset, and they think, oh, I've got to rely on all these other people who don't do their job properly. That's what they think. And they're just like, oh shit. And they know they've pushed that limit too far because they've been pushing the boundaries of the relationship with you forever. So they keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And eventually you're just going to say no more and it breaks, right? And then you've got, it's all in your hands. It's the power to you, like the employee power. So it's like people don't, they always like basically like, I don't like my job, but I have to have my job, or I don't like my job, I don't like my boss. And I was like, just change it. Change it.
This is where the entrepreneurial spirit, the risk aspect of it, really kicks in. I want to share a story, and I don't think Adam knows this story, but it has exactly to do with this because it was about my very own workplace environment. When I was 26 years old, I got my first opportunity to get into corporate sales, and it was, that's a whole nother story because I had no college degree and all this and that, but I got in. And I quickly hit the ground running. Once I learned a lot of the fundamentals of what it took to be in that environment, I hit the ground running, and I quickly escalated up, up the ranks. And 1 year passed by, 2 year passed by, 3 years in, I pretty much accomplished all that I felt that I could. A lot of people were relying on me for a lot of different things, and I was cool about it. But then I lost. I mean, look, you know how it is, man. Like with the type of people that we are, we accomplish, and then there's milestone, there's steps to this shit. And then once those steps go away, like our antennas go up and say, all right, dude, it's time to find another way to grow. And that's what happened with me, right? So I'm in that environment. I'm asking questions. I'm talking to leadership. Everyone's giving me the runaround, and then I quickly realized, like, holy shit, like this is basically it. Like
Mhm.
they want to box me into this so that I could just help everybody else kind of grow and just like and everybody kind of have like one collaborative kind of successful result, but like it's not collaborative. It's very unbalanced. I started talking to people in that environment, about, hey, if you ever thought about leaving, I'm not gonna say the name of the company, but have you ever thought about leaving? Oh, I would never leave. You kidding me, man? Look, dude, you retire, you get a pension fund, you get all this and that. I was like, oh, sure, so I'm just questioning. It's all. I was just questioning. I
Mm.
quickly realized that a lot of these people were like feared into staying there, and I'm like, fuck, I'm not like this. Like, how are these people not willing to want to explore and ask for more? Long story short, I had to start talking to people outside of my company, people that I confided in, and I was a little like sketchy about it because I'm like, I don't want people to think that I'm like, I'm going back to my old ways where I just want to hop from one place to another. Like I just want to grow. I want to grow. And I consulted with a lot of people. I made the plunge. I
Mhm.
took the risk. This place that I left, people retire. Most people, they go there, they stay there forever. They retire. I have so many friends that are still there, still unhappy, and it's still the same reason that's keeping them there. Oh, well, you know what? One day I'm going to be able to retire and all. I'll get that fixed income coming in a month. I make 3 times as much financially than all of them. And the reason I'm stating that is because after that I jumped into other opportunities where people were valuing me more, where they were like, "Bro, bring that fucking growth mentality here, man. We need you here. You're a fucking animal, dude. You want to be a lion? We got a jungle right here." Because I took the risk, because I acknowledge that I'm not in an environment that's going to foster the growth that I'm looking for. It was hard to do because I get it. There's comfort, there's this contentness and all, but you got to listen to the inside, man. Like if you're not happy, because I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. I wasn't passionate anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what keeps you going. You know what I'm saying? It was enough for me to take that risk, and it was the best decision I ever made. The best decision I ever made. I have friends that are there 15 years now, and they're going to be there forever because now they're like, I invested my life here. I got to stay here. I
Yeah.
can never try anything different, you know. So anyway, like that's a perfect example of being in the kind of workplace environment that's not ready to give you the growth that you're looking for, that's actually holding you down in different ways. Maybe it was good for you at one point, but I acknowledged it. I thought about the calculated risks. I took them, and my life changed because of it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And Maya, I'm pretty sure that literally just answered your question. And that is the perfect example of exactly what we're talking about. You know what I mean? So you're basically saying it's not that easy to do when health insurance is through your employer and blah blah blah. What did Ken just say? You know what I mean? Find a new employer. Find a new employer that does better. All right, you can find it. You know, you just need to go out there and look for it. And yes, it is a risk. Yes, it is. You know, you are going outside of the comfort of your job and you're going outside the comfort of your life. But will you be happier in the long run? Probably. You know, your grass is always greener. They say that, but if you live it, it's true. It's very true.
Sorry, Adam. Thanks for summarizing that. But I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
want to say for anybody else out there, the company that I left was one. It's in the top 10 companies in the entire world. They're in the Fortune 10, large company. So it was all the benefits, all the good. Like I said, that's why nobody wanted to leave because
yeah.
it's all that good shit. But like I said, I left and I made 3 times more money than I ever would have made there. And I got all, the benefits of all that stuff. But it is fucking scary. Totally get it. But, and that's a true story too. So hopefully
Yeah,
that inspires some people.
I agree. Also, I want to address Pit Slayer. Um, you have really surprised me with that comment. You've literally taken on board everything we've been talking about and then addressed it in your own workplace. I don't know if whether you
Yeah.
guys have noticed that, but Pit
Yeah,
Slayer
I
has
saw that.
really put into action the stuff we've been talking about, and it's actually helping him change his life. So, do you know when we first started this podcast, we both said to each other, if one person's life is affected in a positive way in any situation, we're gonna have one. You know what I mean? Like that is the whole goal of this, and we've already done it. Do you know what I mean? Like Pit Slayer is taking it on. Like I've known Chris
I
for a
love
very
that.
very long time, and like me and Chris lived through this sort of situationally when we first started working. The company that we worked for when we first started our jobs, it was a terrible fucking company. All right, I won't name it. You guys probably know who it is if you look up my bios and stuff. But I honestly, it was a terrible company. They had just gone into a corporate takeover when we were there, and everything went to shit. And it was like a sinking ship with 10 holes in it. Like it was just we were bailing the water out and more was coming in. Do you know what I mean? Like it was just
Yeah.
horrible to be a part of, but we had to go, we were contracted as apprentices and we had to finish our apprenticeships at the company because they were the ones paying for our education, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
And being an apprentice is like, you can do an apprenticeship anyway. Like it's pretty much, but the thing is we chose to do it in a big company like that so that we would be able to learn on multiple different makes and models of cars. So that was the whole point of it, doing it there in the first place. And they basically started losing franchises of cars. So they started leaving that company and going and selling themselves to other companies in the area because they literally just weren't equipped to handle the amount of work and stuff. Do you know what I mean? They weren't able to handle the volume of cars, the volume of work, because people were leaving every other day. Like, I think while we were there, the rotation of employeeship was 111%, I think we worked out. So, like, that's people coming into the job and leaving the job within the time we were there. And we were both only there for like 3.5, 4 years, right? Well, not even. So like we were just like seeing people. It was like a revolving door, basically, of people. Like we were never working with the same people twice. Like it was just, it was a horrible place to work. But it opened up new opportunities to other places for us. So both of us took the opportunities that we were gifted or granted from other companies because we were good at our jobs, right? So like when Audi, so Audi is the company that I worked for most of my life, when Audi left that company, because I was working within that company for the Volkswagen Audi franchise, and Audi then separated themselves from that company because Audi is like, the standards of work and stuff like here in this place is not good enough for our brand. So they sold their brand to another company. And the other company was a company that owned like Lamborghini, basically. And they were just like, we want you to take this company. We want you to take this part of this business. And we're going to franchise it to you. And we want our own separate buildings. And we want all this. And it's like, okay, no worries. Like basically when Audi left and I was a year short of my apprenticeship finishing. But then because they made it this will explain to you the amount of drive that I have. We had a self-paced TAFE course, right? Now most people's pace is like, I'll do one module a week and I'll watch TV. You know what I mean? I did 6 modules a week. It was fucking easy work, but it was like, you had to buy these booklets that you'd have to complete and then they gave you an exam at the end. And I was doing like as many as humanly possible every single time I was there. And like, because you got paid to go to TAFE, right? So it was just like, I go to TAFE, I'm working. You know what I mean? Most people are like, oh, it's a day off. You know? They get to sit back, relax, watch the football. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, no, that's not what it's for. Like, it's fucking Monday. Like, I just thought to myself, like, I'm going to use this opportunity. I'm getting paid. I'm going to use this opportunity to get as much stuff done because if I can get signed off early, I can make more money. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be paid apprentice wages forever. Like, it's like, you know, like, right. It's like an eighth to the what you get as a fully qualified technician. So I was like, no, I'm not going to, you know, it's terrible. Like it was $6 an hour or something. It was disgusting. And like, you know, an average technician would get paid $22 an hour, right? So it's like, you're doing the same job for $6. It's like, no, I don't want to do this. Right. And so like at the end of like the 2.5 years or 3 years of TAFE, then you have a year inside of the workplace as a 4th year apprentice, right? So it's just, but you don't have to do any more TAFE because you're finished. I finished my TAFE course in 2.5 years, right? And then I made them sign me off early, right? And when they signed me off early, because they were like very reluctant, they gave me an additional like 9 or 10 modules to do because they were trying to keep me in TAFE, right? And I was just like, I'll just get them done. And I just get them done. Like, and they were like reluctant to give them to me because I was working too fast. So I ended up, when I was at TAFE, I'd finished everything they'd asked me to do. And I'm like, please just sign me off. And they couldn't do it because my workplace wouldn't do it, right? Because they're like, you work too fast. You work too fast. I'm like, why? You said it was self-paced. And then, so basically I spent the last 6 months of TAFE helping the teacher set up other things for other students. Wow. Like, I was like, I'm so bored. But then they did sign me off early. They signed me off a year early. And then I literally, as soon as I was signed off as a technician, I called Audi. And I said, hey, because obviously Volkswagen was going to offer me a job as a fully qualified tech and a base wage. You know what I mean? As like 22 an hour. And I said, nah, I'm better than that. I can do that better than that. And so I basically called Audi and I said, hey, I want to come over there and work for you. I want to work on those cars. I want to work with that company. I know that company is way, miles ahead of this one. And this one's a sinking ship and I don't want to go down with it. So how much money are we talking? And they gave, I think it was $24, $25 an hour. And I was just like, yep, I'm on my way. They had a commission scheme. If you did enough jobs during the month, they would give you extra cash, like all sorts of stuff. So it was a really good living. And I literally, the moment they signed me off, I packed up my toolbox and I was like, see you guys. You know what I mean? So it was like, that's all I was waiting for. And I think that's the reason they were putting it off so long, because I think they knew I was just like on my way out as soon as they would like gave me that A-OK. And now a company kind of gets a bit salty when they pay for your tuition, like, and then you complete it and then you leave, but you have no obligation contractually to stay. So that's the thing. So like that's they get upset about like when it comes to like that sort of thing, but they've got to understand they're not the ones paying for the tuition anyway. The government pays for it, right?
Right.
So like the government gives them a subsidy for every apprentice they take on, right? So it's probably
Yeah.
like 70% of our tuition is covered by the government, and then they have to pay us literally wages below fucking the poverty line, and they're getting basically a fully qualified technician out of it that they have to
Yeah.
pay base wage. Like no, you know, I learned all this myself. You didn't learn it. I learned it. You know what I mean? Like I paid for all the books. Like I paid for all the tools. Like I'm on my way. See you later. Like
At that point, it's all fair game, though. Like because it's also their responsibility to have an attractive enough environment and offer to keep you there.
correct.
If they didn't do their job there, they can feel salty all they want, but that's on them.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. And it was like I don't know, just you've got to do it for you. You've got to do it for you. Like this is the whole point of the entrepreneurship sort of situation. Like if you can't find the job that you're looking for, why can't you create it? Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if you're looking for that job and you can't find it and you look everywhere. I'm talking like you really look outside the box. You're looking outside of where you live. Like you're looking around, every single nook and cranny. You're talking to everyone you know in the industry or whatever it might be, and you really want to be in this job, and you're looking and you can't find that job. Why can't you create that job? I mean, that's the risk reward. You know what I mean? If you take the risk and you try and create something new, then you get rewarded for it. That's what I did with my business. Like I looked into the market and I was like, there's no one doing mobile servicing for high end vehicles in the entire of Sydney. I found that and I was like, I'm going to create a business about it. I'm going to take
Yeah.
the risk, and I did, and it did pay off. It really did. And the problem with me is I get bored really easy, and then I want to do something else. So I can't be. It's like a hunger I can't satisfy. I just want to do the
Yeah,
next
is
thing.
that is that is that a curse or a gift?
I don't
Um,
know. Like like I was very very happy in my job. Prior to me starting a business, like I didn't need
yeah.
to leave my job. Like I was getting paid really well. I took a pay cut in order to start a business. You know what I mean? Like I don't just because I wanted to see if I could do it. It was more like a challenge, like a personal challenge. So like
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, finances is important. You know what I mean? Like having money to pay bills and for whatever it might be, health cover, paying for your, spouse or children or whatever it might be. I mean, yes, that is important. But I guess for me, my situation is a little different. It's like I'm a single male. You know what I mean? Like I don't have any responsibilities when it comes to family and kids, and
Yeah.
I'm financially like singular. Do you know what I mean? So whatever money I make or don't make is directly affecting me only, right? So yes, I understand that, and that is like one of the factors, but it doesn't mean you can't calculate the risk. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Doesn't mean you can't factor that in because you're factoring in every single thing that are paying for, like with the risk that you're taking. So you got to think about it. Life is short. You got to fucking take advantage of it.
The life. So here I'm gonna segue off of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a portion of the. So by the way, that was good. Thanks for sharing. I didn't know that. You
Yeah.
had a lot of interesting stories. You've done quite a bit. How old are you? You've done quite a bit in your life.
Like I said, I get bored really easy.
No, what's funny though? Like, all right, now I'm adding to the digression, but I'll just one last thing and then we'll go back. But that's why you have like you stream, you like full time, not well, kind of like streamer, right? And then you have like three or four other podcasts and your business.
Yeah.
So like that's not by accident. I mean, it's gonna be tough to get bored with that kind of a schedule. You know what I mean? Like nobody can. But it's okay. You know what? The It's gonna be a matter of time before Twitch gives you a sitcom, your own series or something. And I just want to be like one weekly episode, Thursdays with Kenw1ck, or something like that.
That'd be
the
fun.
so You know what? You know me. My mind always wanders, and I'd like to think about the different people that may or may not listen to, to what we got going on. There are some people that will say they love everything that we're saying. Like, it just makes them feel good. It just sounds right. But for some reason, they just, like, they can't wake up in the morning with your drive. They can't build the confidence that I had to take that risk. Like, but it feels good. Like, the hear is talking about it, right? And it makes them feel good. And but it's like, I can't. I want I want people to consider eliminating the word can't.
Hmm.
Not permanently, okay? Because I get it, like, oh my God, what do you mean? People have their own principles and they're stuck in their own bullshit ways. Just fucking listen to me. Eliminate can't for a short while and just hear me out. This one time, and I know I say that a lot, but just this one time, there, Adam and I, we appreciate different things, about each other. You guys know, like, I tend to get a little cheesy when it comes to, like, quotes and stuff like that. Not that I like taking out, other people's quotes, but for this particular topic, Adam thought it would have been a good idea to maybe, go into some of these, some of the books that we've come across or read over the years that have to do with, entrepreneurship, the entrepreneurial spirit. And this book called The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, one of the most powerful books I've ever read. Till this day, I would say number one or two books that changed the whole course of the way I think. And there's one quote in there that I think applies to those people who like what we're saying. It makes them feel good. They just don't think they can do it. And here's the quote. The quote goes, "Sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny." Now, I'm going to put it in layman's terms. Thoughts become things. That's a law of attraction thing, but it applies here too. Think about the person you want to become, okay? If you're not happy with who you are today, think about the person you want to become. And then think about the things that that person would do. And then do the things that that person would do, and you'll live the life that that person would live. That's a little different than us just saying, like, hey, just do it. Just do it. I get it when Adam says, you just got to do it. Adam gets it when I say, you just got to do it. This is a simple way for you guys to understand what we mean. What we mean is really think about who you want to be. The walk, talk, the way you respond, think about that. All right? Think about how that person would react in certain situations, what they would do. You ever see those movies where, like, oh, what would this person do? What the fuck would you do? What would you do? And then do it. And then you'll slowly start seeing that your life is going to change no matter what. I promise you. I promise you. Your life will change if you start doing different things. How about that? That's simple.
Yeah.
I promise you, your life will change. I'm gonna post that in my announcement in Discord. The "So a Thought" quote, because I want everybody to understand it. And I want everybody to really just get what that means. It's very, very simple, and it can be done, but for
Yeah.
some reason, a lot of people just don't do it.
Yeah, I think I mean at this like I agree with everything you just said, obviously, with the mindset of how you said it, because like a lot of people they just don't think like that. Do you know what I mean? And we're trying what we're trying to do with this whole series of podcasts is we're trying to change the way you think, right? In a positive way for your life. Like, like it's a very simple concept if you just latch on to the start of it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if you start from step one and you work your way up, it's really really straightforward. Like it's just hard to explain to people that it's like it's. I thought about this the other day as a comparison. I can't. I was talking to Map about this actually. Map and I had lunch the other day, and we were having a discussion about the different ways people view the world when it comes to like, physical like things like the way your brain thinks, right? It was a really interesting
Yeah.
concept that we had and we were talking about. And I said to her, and we were talking about this, and we said, imagine you're colorblind, right? And you see the color green as purple, right? You're going to think the grass is purple, right? You're going to think the trees are purple. You're going to think all these things, and you're not going to even know what green is, okay? So then someone says the grass is green to you, and you go, what is green? Like, I don't know what that color is. I can't see, like, green is purple. It's like, no, purple is purple. Green is green. But this person can't see green. This is the thing, right? We're trying to make you see green, okay? It's the way of like basically saying, no, but green exists. You just have to see it. And as soon as you see green, your perspective on everything changes. It changes everything because you're just like, the fucking trees aren't purple anymore. Like they're green. Like the grass is green. Like the money is green. Like, all these things. And you look at all these things and all of a sudden your entire life is turned upside down by one simple perspective change. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
We
yeah.
had a big discussion about this the other day, and it was very, really interesting. Kind of funny, to be honest, because like you can't even picture that because, obviously I'm not having a go at people who are colorblind, by the way. I'm just using it. I'm using it as an analogy. So basically, it's an easy way to describe what you're trying to achieve. Do you know what I mean? Like, It's kind of a fun concept. I want to touch on what Ali just said because this is what I was getting at. She says, what if doing the risks affects people you love and is it worth taking? Why does it affect the people you love? This is what I'm saying. So like, we have to have context in that regard because if you're saying what you changing your life is going to affect those that you love, why can't those people that you love adapt with you? Why can't they change as well? Why is it up to you in order to be the one who has to succeed or fail without help? Explain that to me.
That's a fucking great question. I mean, like that's the question to ask. Uh, Ali, I want to take a shot at this. If I might be wrong, but if you mean like what, like it meaning you would have to either be around less or maybe not not be as supportive or whatever if you were going to focus on yourself a little bit more the this is good because Adam just talked about the grass being green and not purple, right? You can't, you could either look at that as you're not going to be around as much for a person, or you're going after more in your life. And that's really like that's remember what we talked about in previous podcasts where it's not a you problem. That doesn't pertain to just like strangers. That pertains to family too. Like sometimes family gets put in this position where they have to be family, meaning they have to love you. So part of loving you means letting you go. Like if you want to go try things, if you want to be greater, if you want to try bigger things, and you're not going to be around as much. That's what love is. Now I don't know if that's where you were going with it, but I know a lot of people. I don't want to say people use that as an excuse. Some people do, but I know that for some people, it genuinely they struggle with that because it's like, fuck, man. But I've been there so much, like this bond and this connection to my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister. Like it's everything, and I don't know if I'll be able to deal with that. Well, guess what? You're the person who you have that bond with. If they really, really love you, then they're going to be okay. They're still going to be there. They don't, if they really love you, then they don't want you to not take chances. They don't want you to not grow.
Yeah.
It's all about shifting. So don't look at it as you're losing. You're not losing a bond. You're gaining something greater in your life.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the whole misery loves company thing that we were talking about. You
Yeah.
know, it ties into that because if you really think about it, the people that love you the most in this world will support you with doing anything that you decide to do, right? And that is a fact, okay? And if the people who love you the most are the people that hurt you the most, then you have to look at the people you surround yourself with because that's not a good situation to be in. That is a toxic thing, right? You need to work that out. You need to figure out, well, do these people really care about me? You know what I mean? Like they say they do, but they never action it. Okay. And actions speak louder than words. We know that, right? So if somebody says to you every single day, if you're in a toxic relationship, right? And I have been in one, I can explain this. If you're in a toxic relationship and every single day they say, I love you, right? I love you is a positive reinforcement, right? It's an emotionally positive reinforcement. I love you. I love you. I love you. You can say it over and over and over and over again to the people. And of course, you know, you feel that, right? And especially if you love that person back, like, you know, I love you. Oh, I love you too. You know, it's positive reinforcement. But their actions and intentions when it comes to everything else is toxic, right? So they drag you down emotionally and they tell you how to live your life. They're telling you what to do. They're telling you how to think. They're telling you who you can see, who you can talk to, the friends, the family, the relatives, whatever it might be. All of that is actionable, right? And then you've got to say, okay, you tell me that you love me every day. It's like, what does that even mean? Question it, right? Because at that point, if they really loved you, they would support you. They would follow you to what you want to do. They would make sacrifices for you. You know what I mean? Like, and you would do the same for them. Like, that's what a relationship is all about. You know, making sacrifices for each other in order for you better the life you have. Do you know what I mean? And love, you know, if you really love someone, you will provide that for them. That's what it should all be all about. I don't think people realize that until it's too late. A lot of the time. And
Yeah.
but if you can switch onto that early, I'm gonna save you a world of pain. Because like
Uh,
I didn't switch onto that early enough, I feel. And I sort of let it go a little bit too far. But ever since then, I've never let it happen again. Do you know what I mean? So you've really
yeah.
got to think about it like that. You know what I mean? Like question things in your life. Don't just think everything is what it's supposed to be. Like the table in the kitchen might, you know, you look this is a really funny example. The table in your kitchen, what's it for? Eating breakfast, right? It can also be for creating a fucking art piece. Okay? Think outside the box. You know? The chair that you sit on every day, is it a comfortable chair? Or is it a chair where you get your work done? You know? Just think about it differently. Just little bit. You don't have to be like, you know, the chair is going to take you to the moon. No, it's just the chair is just something different. Just think about it like that a little bit. And maybe by you just like having that thought process in life, you might actually, you know, push yourself to do something different. That's it.
Dude, that was I like that. I love that analogy.
That's
That's such a
great.
great analogy too. The and I just want to add well, it's kind of similar, but the we're not saying, by the way, you know, to desensitize yourself to these things, because till this day I still sometimes have to make decisions where, maybe it's my kids that I gotta sacrifice. They won't see me for an extra day during the week for a couple of months, or my wife, or my mom. I still feel like that little like uneasy, like, oh man, this is gonna hurt, right? But now I make the right decision. It's just that I treat it differently. Like, for example, if I'm going to do something where, it's I can't, meet my mom on Sundays anymore for a couple of weeks. It's a lot, like, it's I still feel like I'm gonna miss my mom. But now it's like, look, mom, I got something that I'm doing. Okay, I love you like crazy, but unfortunately, it's gonna impact my Sundays. Okay, we can still chat on the phone. I'm not gonna love you less. I'm gonna love you more. Okay. But the good news is that's gonna open me up to some other opportunity. Okay. Love you. I know it bothers you. You hate me right now, but you're gonna love me later. That's it. That's it. So you don't desensitize yourself to these things. And I want to make sure people understand that. Like you still feel like the emotion and the connection, to those people. It's just that you start making the right decision. Like, instead of that feeling stopping you from making the decision to grow and pursue new opportunity, it no longer stops you. You now look at it as like, ah, yeah, this is a little, it's going to be a little inconvenient. I'm going to miss you like crazy, but there's a brighter outcome. There's more opportunity. The world will respond to you. I fucking promise you, they'll respond to you, because it's that's a whole nother topic. But
Well,
that
this I'll digress on that. I mean, this ties into our entire topic last week about mindfulness and goal orientation. Literally, the exact thing you just said is exactly what we like reiterated last week. Like long-term goals. Okay? I don't want anyone setting short-term goals in this community, in this chat, in this anything that we have to do. You guys need to set long-term goals, okay? Even with your streaming, with your lifestyles, with your health choices, with your family and friends, like long-term goals is what you need to picture. Now, a lot of people, like we spoke about last week, cannot picture long-term goals because they can't see that far ahead into the future. Okay, you need to fix that. All right, take the steps program. Go start at 1 and work your way to 10. Whatever it takes to get you to that goal, I need you to try and do it because you're going to be exponentially better for doing that, right? Because basically for me, like even in this situation, like when I'm like training, I'm training 6 days a week at the gym. I don't think to myself like, I'm going to see results tomorrow. Okay? No, I'm going to see results in months. You know what I mean? Like I'm training really hard every single day. It doesn't mean at the end of the week I'm gonna look like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, that's not the world we live in. It's hard work. It's dedication. Like in 6 months' time, I want to look 1/10 of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, right? In 2 years' time, I want to look 2/10 as good as Arnold Schwarzenegger. All right. If I keep pushing that goal, like it's a long fucking goal. Like it's probably never look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? But all I'm saying is that. If you have like a long-term goal in mind and you work hard right now to achieve it, it might come quicker than you expected. Okay. You might hit hurdles along the way that you need to jump over in order to, continue on that path. You might have to, like we said with the train tracks, you might have to deviate for about, couple of minutes and then come back and, set yourself back on course because there's going to be obstacles in your life because everybody has challenges. But stop setting short-term goals. Like stop having instant gratification issues. Stop watching TikTok. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got to just try and like allocate your time better. You know what I mean? You've got to try these things. I say, do you know what I mean? A lot. Because I'm trying to I want to hear if you understand what I'm saying. Like, if you say, yeah, I know what you mean, then you've already started the whole process of changing the way you think. It's everyone's going to be different, right? But like, yeah, I was speaking to, you guys all know Tattoo Queen. She is my mod editor in my stream, and also I do the same for her, and we help each other with like bits and pieces when it comes to social media stuff. I was talking about that earlier. I had a big conversation with her about it because she was like, when it comes to goals on Twitch or whatever, when you're trying to like get followers or viewers or whatever, I said to her, what's your goal for the end of the year? She goes, the end of the year? And I'm like, yeah. I was just like, I don't care what your goal is in 6 months. I want to know what it is for the end of the year or even like for next year. Like, and she's like, wow, I didn't think that far ahead. And I was like, I want you to think that far ahead with everything. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to do that because if you do, and you set yourself goals for like really long term, you're going to surpass them if you make the effort.
Yeah. Your whole attitude will change. 'Cause remember
100%.
we talked about this. So remember the two people having the same job, one hates it, the other one loves it. Like the difference is is that one person knows what they want,
Yeah.
and the farther out ahead you have it, the easier it is to tie the little things that you did do today to that goal. I promise you that is how your friggin' brain works, every single one of you. And if anybody's doubting me right now, I challenge you to try the process that we're talking about and then come back to me and tell me it doesn't work. We're humans. That's just how it is. If an activity that you're doing today, as grueling as it is, if it ties to a vision that you believe in a year from now, 2 years from now, you'll love it. You'll do it happily. It could be cleaning pig shit. You'll fucking do it because you know that that's getting you this much closer to whatever, having, the house you want, the spouse you want,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
100%. I know you've got a whole book of quotes in front of you. and I would like you to give us another fucking brilliant quote. Also, with all the books that you've read, I know you've read a lot of books. All right, I'm a big book reader as well, but you've read a lot of books when it comes to this topic. And for me, I've probably read a lot of books when it comes to like, historical topics and stuff. But like, I haven't read any of these books that you've read, and you tell me about them all the time. And I sort of like, and I think a lot of people in the chat have read them. Like Linksy, I think, said he read the book that you were referring to this prior to just now.
Oh yeah, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's a powerful book.
My dad is one of those people too. He's read every one of those books. His favorite book is Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he goes on about it fucking.
Oh my god, that was the very first book I ever read.
Yeah, my dad read that, and he's been self-employed his entire life. So
shit.
so I related to that when you spoke about that, because I was like, he gave me that book. So my dad, this is the funny part about my dad, reminds me of you a little bit sometimes, because my dad when I was about 14, 15, he gave me that book. Like, and I was like, what the fuck is this? This isn't Harry Potter. Like, this isn't like The Lord of the Rings. Because I was a big fantasy fiction reader, and I was also reading books like, I was more interested in books like World War II in color. That's the kind of stuff that I would read, because I was really interested in the wars and stuff, and the history and stuff. And dad gave me this Rich Dad Poor Dad book, and he said, you should read this. This is really good for your future. I just fucking used it as a kickstand. Like, I didn't fucking read it.
Goodness.
You know what I mean? Because I was like, I don't, like, me and my dad, sometimes we don't really like see eye to eye and stuff, and we don't really get along. But like, I understand that his intentions are always like good. But like, he gives me this book, and I just look at him like, fuck off with this. I don't want to read this. Like, it's like, this looks boring. This looks like business orientated. Like, I'm fucking, who cares about that stuff? But do you know what? Like, I probably should have read it, but I kind of learnt it either way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, remember what I told you before? Do you remember when we were talking on? It was earlier this morning for me, but I think it was last night for you.
I might not remember.
I said, yeah, I'll sift through some of my books, and I'll find some cool stuff that I remember over the years. I said, it's probably going to be stuff that you kind of already know, that you probably learned along the way already. It's just that it was written in a book, but that's kind of cool though. Like I want to go through this process like of reading all of these books again, because like I read all those books like before I really got that experience, because once you get into the experience, and then these companies just flood you with shit to learn and certifications and like trainings, and it's like, fuck, all right, I won't read anymore. I'll do this shit. But man, it would be so neat to go back and read read. I'm pretty sure I would probably interpret them, differently. Hopefully, maybe even learn more. Learn something I didn't see, because there's a different lens now. I'm sure I had blinders back then that I wasn't aware of.
Well, seeing things through a different lens is such a popular thing. Like, I mean, imagine reading Harry Potter now after watching the movie.
Oh my goodness,
it ruined your imagination. That's what I hate. That's what I hate about Hollywood. They just ruin everything. But like, to be honest, like, I try to avoid those kind of movies because I have an imagination of what I read. Like, I read this book in a certain way, and I imagine the characters and the places they went to, and the creatures they came across, and all the stuff in a certain way in my own mind, right? And that imagination is what I used in order to enjoy the books. And then Hollywood comes along, and it's just all about money, and they go, hey, let's make a whole series of movies that make no sense and that cut out half the good things in the books because we can't incorporate an entire book into a movie into an hour and a half or 2 hours, whatever it might be. And then they just ruin your imagination. And I'm just like, I hate that. I fucking hate that. Like, I honestly do. Like, I understand it from a business perspective, but it fucking pisses me off. Like,
I think this might be an empowerment podcast first, but I need to take a restroom break.
No, you're all good.
We're at the 30 seconds, but I think this is a good opportunity. I love this question that Ali posed for us.
Yeah, I was reading it.
Stab at it. Maybe you could take a stab at it first.
Yeah, I'll go for it.
I'll be right back. I just need to, because I don't know if you noticed, but I've drank like 2-3 bottles of water over the last hour and a half.
Yeah, I got you. Oh, it's 2 of me. That's exciting. Look, it's me in like 3D. All right, it's just all mine, all me now. Hello, world. All right. Reading your question. I'll read the first part of your question, actually. You just said here, people change at different paces. Someone could read a page while another is already to the end of a chapter, you can't rush them to change, but you shouldn't have to slow down. I mean, yeah, that's an adaptation thing. Like that's a balance. So maybe my interpretation of that would be, how do you help that person reach the end of that chapter? Do you know what I mean? Like if it's a loved one, say you're referring to your partner or whatever in that regards, or a family friend or a family, like or your brother or sister or whatever it might be. How do you push that person to reach the end of that chapter and catch up to where you were at? Do you know what I mean? Like how do you incorporate that? How do you help that person? You should be able to look at that from that angle. Yeah. I think that's a great way of looking at it, because if you've already gained the knowledge of the entire chapter, why can't you share that knowledge with that person and then push them to finish the chapter as soon as possible, rather than just like have them do it at their own pace? I mean, it's going to be beneficial to both of you. So, I mean, that's a good way of looking at it, I think. And yeah, it's very true. It is very true. The question here though, Linksy double trouble. Yeah, it's 2 of me. How can you set a long time goal for a year from now when you have no idea where life will take you? Now, if you think about it, where is your life at now? Okay, everyone in the chat, I want you to all picture, not me in double. I want you to all picture your life as it is right now. Okay, and I want you to think of the things in your life that you love and the things in your life that you don't. Okay. Now, the things in your life that you don't, you want to change them, right? And you have, obviously, these might be goals of long term. It might be health related, say like weight related, or it might be fitness related in that regards. It might be education related. It could be work related. It could be any of these things, okay? Now, if you don't know where your life's going to be in a year's time, okay, you're just opening yourself to interpretation. I can guarantee that your life is going to be the same in a year's time, okay? Because why would it change unless you change it? This is what I'm saying. So like, if you're stuck in the same job, in the same house, in the same relationship, and all the same things now, and you have no goals, you will be stuck in the same thing in a year's time. Nothing's going to change, okay? So when you say you don't know where your life's going to take you, what are you doing you think is going to make your life change? Okay, that's what the goal's for. All right, and then you have an idea of where you're headed. That's the whole point. So like, if I was stuck in the same job and the same place, and I lived in the same place, and I surrounded myself with the same people, and I did the same routine every single day, and that's all I ever did, in a year's time, I'm going to be doing the exact same thing. There is no change. There is no uncertainty to that. It is going to be the same because I haven't changed anything. So that's my answer to that question. I really believe that. Like, what factor in your life makes you think that in a year's time you're not going to know where you are? Address that factor.
That's deep. I wasn't gonna go that deep. Now I feel obligated to.
Yeah, do it.
No, but yeah, no, that was good, man. That's good. That's really great input. Uh, so Ali, in terms of that particular question, and this would actually be a great conversation. Ali's actually a really good person to talk to. She's for such a young lady. She's a very deep thinker. Um, the I just think they're two different things, Ellie. Like the idea of you not knowing where life's gonna take you in a year from now, because Adam doesn't know either. I don't know. Like we have our goals, we have our goals that we follow, and that make us feel good as we're achieving these little milestones, and that's their purpose. But in reality, tomorrow Adam could get the opportunity of a lifetime that takes him away from everything.
Hmm?
Tomorrow my life could change dramatically. Like, what I mean? So like, I feel like they're two different things. Like the idea of the goal setting is because, day in and day out, you want to be moving towards something, right? Like it's about purpose, and it's about happiness. It's about that feeling. We all chase these feelings, whatever it is, a championship, a soccer team, money, whatever it is. Like, it's because these things bring us these special feelings, and without it,
Mm-hmm.
then you are really just relying on wherever life takes you. And that's not I wouldn't say that's an ideal situation to be in. That's like being on a raft without having the paddle. You're just kind of like, all right, we'll
See
see where
where
the
it
wind
takes me. Yeah.
So anyway, I had to take it that way because Adam took the deep route.
Yeah, I do that a lot. Yeah, I mean,
But
with the continuation question here, I want to, acknowledge this a little bit. The question was, as a person who graduates college in December after a long time of working on this one thing, what can you plan for a whole different world you'll enter? Well, what is the reason you did college in the first place? You did college in the first place. You wanted to be educated on the degree that you're doing, yeah, and the degree that you're doing is leading to opportunities in that industry. What is stopping you from looking into that industry now? Because you know that the college degree is going to be done, right? If you have a goal for the college degree and you know that in December that college degree is done, right, and you're working towards that and you're doing everything to manage that, what is stopping you from looking into that world of opportunity that you're going to create for yourself now? What is stopping you from being like, okay, what jobs is this going to entail? Let's look them up. What in this industry is what I want to do for my future? Let's go and read into it. Let's go talk to people who are in this industry already. Let's go discuss things with them and see what steps they took when they left college. You know what I mean? Like, think ahead of yourself. Don't just think, okay, I just got to finish college. I just got to finish college. I just got to finish college. If you have that like tunnel vision, and you can't multitask, you're just going to do one thing at a time. But time is important. Time is valuable, right? So while you already know the end result, you're already working hard, you're already going to achieve that degree. The outcome of that is going to be opportunity. Let's discuss that opportunity now. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. Okay. The internet is infinite. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can use the internet to your advantage. You don't have to just watch cat videos. You know what I mean? Like, you can go, even though cat videos are fucking awesome, by the way, I'm just going to put that out there. But, you can use the internet for other things. Like, it is a world of opportunity if you just know the right things to type. You know what I mean? If you type something into Google, within 0.1 of a second, it'll give you a million search results for the thing that you've just typed. That is insane. That's crazy. That's a thing that you can use as a tool to your advantage. All right. Now think about that. If you have the right search codes and the right results, and you think to yourself, at the end of my degree, I know exactly the opportunities that I'm going to be presented with, and you look into them now and you find other people who are already in that industry and they can help you, go do that now. Give yourself a leg up. You know what I mean? Put yourself a pedestal higher than the rest of the people who have just finished college and they're like, I don't know what to do now. You know what I mean?
Alec, Allie, could we borrow you for the next few Saturdays? I love these questions. They like it, and it's tough. Like I know it's not easy to to kind of like there's a little bit of a vulnerability factor, and then not that like we're dissecting or picking apart anything, but
No.
like I mean I would feel the same way, if I put a question out there and somebody was giving me a dose of reality. So thank you for that. Please,
Yeah, we definitely appreciate the question.
more of that. So I love this question, by the way. I do because I feel like everybody has that question. I did, when I was in the same situation.
Yeah.
And the way I would answer it today, as an old guy, who's been there and had kids and all that old shit, but hey, hopefully it helps in some way, is that you could do all the planning you want, right, for the new world you're gonna enter. You could plan for the toughest situation. You could see all the angles. You can do all that, and I promise you, you're still gonna be surprised. You're
Hmm.
still gonna be shocked. You're still gonna find yourself in pressure situations. All of that shit's still gonna happen. It's how you handle it then and there. And it's trusting that, look, I put in the time. I put in the time at school.
Hmm.
I surrounded myself with strong people. Now it's time to go out there and do. And I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah.
Anybody who says that, look, I know that there's some people that they appear to have all the answers, like they graduate college, they got this, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. No, it's not. It's not like that. That's all fucking grass is greener on the other side. We all go through the same shit. We all go through the same, like, fuck, I know that this is the job I'm gonna get to, because I know a friend here, there's there, but I'm gonna have to do this when I'm in there. And then there's the politics within the office. I gotta make sure, like, we all go through the same shit. So just experience it and just trust that you've got the tools. You've got the tools and you've got the support system to
Mhm.
withstand anything that's going to be put in front of you in terms of challenges. And I
Yeah.
mean, you met me through friggin' Twitch, so you're like fucking, you're like you hit the lottery.
I think this is like all relative to exactly what we're talking about entrepreneurship, because like, you know, eh, stability, when you're saying stability and opportunity, like it's all tied in. Do you know what I mean? Like when you sit for an exam, say, because I know everyone can relate to this. Everybody's done an exam, right? Everyone's done a test. Everyone's done something like that whether it comes to education or it comes to work, right? Everybody sat for that. How prepared are you for that test? How prepared are you for that exam? That's up to you. That's totally up to you. Your preparation for that test and exam is solely on you. Okay? You have the tools, you have the knowledge in front of you. You just need to learn it, right? And the people that go ahead and they study hard and they learn things and they and then they walk out of that test, they walk out of the test confident and they walk into it just as confident. You know what I mean? Like they were prepared. They knew exactly what they were going to handle. But during that test, there might be a little bit of a dodgy question. There might be a question in there that they weren't prepared for. And it's the people who can adapt to that question in that exam on the spot right there and then under a time consume, like under a pressure cooker of a situation, right? If you can adapt to that question, you can dive into it and you can actually get it done. Those are the people that always succeed in life. Okay?
Hmm.
So they did all the steps. You can do all the steps, right? They were prepared. This is what Ken just mentioned here. They can be prepared for the test. They can have all the knowledge on the test, right? They know what's in the test. And then they get to the test and they're confident, they walk in, and then there's a question in there they don't know the answer to. But because they were prepared, they were able to work their way through it. Okay? And that's life. Again, I'm going deep because I'm fucking weird, but that's
Shut
life.
up. No, bro, fucking go deeper. Hey, remember before you were asking me about the quotes here? Look, I want to share two of them because they have to do with what we're talking about. So I know Adam and I kind of already answered the question, Ali, but um one of the books that like absolute like fucking game changer is called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. One of my favorite quotes from that book is by re-educating the mind you can accept fear as simply a fact of life rather than a barrier to success. Now, we actually talked about this at length a few podcasts ago. I feel like
Mm.
Adam remembers every podcast, like the lines and everything. I always say a few podcasts ago, but Adam has a tendency of saying, yes, that was when we talked about confidence, or that was when we talked about perspective, or goal orientation 101.
Mm.
But the but that's true though. We talked about this. We talked about how if you can accept adversity,
Mm-hmm.
period, like general adversity, if you can accept it in your head that look like I there it goes. Come on, look, we knew this was coming, right? We just didn't know in what form. So let's go for it, man. Let's fucking tackle it. Let's strap on. Let's play. Let's get in the fucking game. If you can do that, life's a breeze, not a breeze, but it's just more manageable. And then that ties into another quote from another book called "Don't Sweat the Small Stuff." Another powerful book and another powerful quote. The quote reads, "When you learn the habit of responding to life with more ease, problems that seem insurmountable will begin to seem more manageable."
So true.
Now, the reason I say this is because dude, it's not like a switch, man. This one thing that we're talking about here, this one tiny element of the entire empowerment series, it's not a switch. It's effort, it's practice, it's habitual.
Mm.
You gotta practice it, and you can't beat yourself up if you get it wrong. But you need to get into the habit of being present when you come across a tough situation. Like when I say be present, I mean fucking stop, think about what you're feeling, like all of it. Like, oh fuck, I'm nervous. Why am I nervous? Or why am I getting this exact? Whatever it is, be present. Like
Mm.
think about it, And then you have to force yourself into thinking, all right, let me take a deep breath. Let me breathe into a bag, whatever it is. I knew this was going to happen. All right. Because I knew there was going to be adversity eventually. Okay. So now let me just think of the solution, okay? Forget what I swear to God. I just and I know that's a strong thing to say, and I'm sorry if anybody's offended, but that will change your life. I am the go-to person for everybody in my family, and there's a lot of fucking people in my family. You want to know why? Because no matter what happens, it could be a car crash, somebody missed a fucking flight that's now cost that a $2,000 problem, whatever the fuck it is, they always come to me. You want to know why? Because while everybody else is freaking out, I'm in my own little world right here thinking about, okay, this is what happened. This is the solution. This is what I got to call. Like right away, because that's just how I respond to problems. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm great. That didn't happen overnight. That happened practice one step at a time.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Everything you said, I agree with. And I think the same. I really do. I have people come to me every
It,
single day doing the same thing. Like,
it's a
just,
beautiful thing.
I mean, it's pragmatic. You know what I mean? Like, it's the way of looking at things in a different way, but it shouldn't be different. It should be normal.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
everyone should have this ability to look at these things the same way. We're not fucking superhuman or anything. All it is just education. Like we just learned it along the way and we just remembered it. You know what I mean? Like people, we all know the person that emotionally reacts to everything. Do you know what I mean? Like we know that person. You know what I mean? Like, something happens on the television, they start crying. You know what I mean? Like something happens in life and their first reaction is to start yelling. Like, something that happens in the workplace and their first reaction is to be like, I can't believe this happened to me. You know what I mean? Like it's,
Sorry.
we all
I
know that
shouldn't laugh.
person. No, you're laughing
But I
because you're
do.
picturing that person in your head. I
I
know what you're
do.
doing. Like, so we all know that person and we all like, I don't know what, we don't feel sorry for that person. Okay. We want to help that person because like, if that person can take into consideration what we're saying and they have the emotional intelligence to do so, their life's going to change exponentially. You know what I mean? Like, so instead of being like, having something bad happen at work and just being like, oh my God, my life sucks and I'm going to post about it on Twitter. Instead of doing that, right? They then think that they have that thought process. They go, okay, they stop for like a second and they think, why is this happening? Okay. How do I fix it? Right? And how do I go about it so that I can turn this, what I perceive as negative, into a positive? If they have that thought process, when instead of being like, my fucking life sucks, then their life won't suck. Okay? Like, it's a very simple concept. Just breathe. Take a minute to think. You know what I mean? You're not trying to catch an
Yeah.
arrow at fucking 1,000 kilometers an hour. You're just trying to work out a problem at work. Like, it's not
Yeah.
it's not a pressure cooker. Do you know what I mean? You gotta just figure it out.
So you said something before that I think it's important to kind of state again, and I have an example of what you mean. When you said like we're not superhuman. It's just that we've conditioned and gotten ourselves to respond this way. To certain things. It's true, guys. Like when we say things like like anybody can do it, or with a shift of the way you think, like we I can't emphasize enough how much we mean by that. So I'll give you an example of like what it's like to dive into the mindset of somebody like that in a real life situation. A long time ago, I wish my brother was on right now. He loves the story. My brother wanted to take my car to go impress some of his friends. And I mean, I'm going back like, geez, I was like 28, 29, maybe 11, 12 years ago. And I had a Mercedes. Uh, and like to me, it was nothing, because I love those cars. Those are the cars that I've always driven. So I was like, really? Like, that's what you want to do? And he's like, yeah, is it okay? I just want to take it for a ride and this and that. I was like, all right, whatever, sure. Like, no sweat. Like, it's not like, didn't even think twice, didn't think anything of it. But like in the back of my mind, there's always like a worst case scenario thing. But look, I made the decision. I was like, sure, you can borrow it, go do your thing. He's gone. An hour goes by, 2 hours. I'm not thinking anything of it. He calls me up, frantic. Like I hear noise in the background, I hear beeping, beep, beep, and then I hear him breathing. So like right away, like my brain starts going into okay, you got to prepare for something. Like just, but like the first thing I thought was, I hope he's okay. You know, I hope he's all right. I hope nothing happened to anybody. He's like, Ken, Ken, I got into an accident. I'm like, whoa, okay, okay, slow it down, slow it down. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm alright. I don't know what to do. I don't know. It's like, well, what'd you do? It's like, I was turning lanes, and then a van came and it sideswiped me, and out of the car spun, and I'm like, oh, well, where's the car? I'm in it. I'm like, all right, well, where's everybody? I mean, what happened? He's like, I don't know. I just drove away. So I'm like, you what? He's like, I don't know. I look back, the van that hit me, it just stopped, but I just drove away. I didn't know what to do. I'm like, all right, well, you got to stop. He goes, no, I'm almost at your house. I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, I'm in overdrive now. I'm like, all right, now I really got to like calm the hell down.
Yeah.
So he shows up, all right, and the whole side of my car looks like a giant hammer. Like you can't open the door. It's like I'm like and the funny thing is it like that little chuckle like happened inside. Like I just thought this fucking shit only happens in movies. And it's happening to me right now. And then my brother gets out of the car, right? My brother gets out of the car and he like the fear of God is in him because he, look, I had a temper in my younger years, but I was practicing a lot of these things that we're talking about at that age. So he comes out of the car. So immediately in my head, like all these different things are going on, but this is what was happening in my head. In my head, I'm thinking, okay, listen, the negative is that look, your car is fucked right now. It's just fucked. Okay.
Yeah.
But the positive is that your brother is safe. Okay. And I'm gonna feel good the moment that I could figure out whether insurance is the right way to go. I can call up one of the local shops, see what it's gonna cost for them to fix this. In another 2 weeks, this problem's gonna be taken care of because that's what I'm gonna do. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I set the emotion aside. Okay, I put the emotion, in my back pocket, and I focused on that. But all of that happened within milliseconds, right there. So what I was able to do on the outside, instead of freaking out and screaming at my brother, I still felt the emotion. This is why I'm telling you the story because we're not superhuman. I still felt the fucking emotion, but because I was able to kind of consolidate all the bullshit and put it in my back pocket and focus on the solution aspect of it and think about how good I'm gonna feel when I have this this all figured out and my car is fixed. I was able on the outside to say, Steve, I'm really, really fucking furious at you right now. So just go, all right? Just leave her. I'm not. I don't hate you, okay? But like, I'm really, really holding it in right now. So just go, okay? I'll figure this shit out. You okay? All right, get the fuck out of here. Yo, dude, my brother will tell you, like, till this day, he's like, yo, Ken, bro, that was the one time I swore I thought you were gonna kill me. I really believed in my heart that you were gonna kill me. He's like, I don't know what you did, but I just thank God. I remember going home thinking, God, you were with me. You saved my life because I thought my brother was gonna kill me. But I was like, yo, Steve, if you only knew the mental gymnastics that I fucking had to do so that I didn't react to that. Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
it's a
god.
fun story, but it's true though. Like those are the kinds of things that you can do. You know, when you practice these processes that Adam and I are talking about, you'd be surprised. You could get yourself through some really really tough situations.
No, I totally. That's literally just sums up exactly what I was trying to explain, and in a perfect example. Like that's all it is, man. Like it's just a perspective change. Like obviously, as you said to me, like what does it tie into? It ties into part two. You know what I mean? Like everything we were talking about is all related to each other. Like,
Hmm.
this is why if you haven't already, guys, and you're really enjoying the podcast, please make sure you watch all the episodes because I'm telling you, every single episode we talk about all these things that tie in with each other. Like this entire series, each episode is just as important as the other one. I'm not saying that because I'm trying to get more views. I'm saying that because they're all important and we can't fit it all in one podcast. Otherwise, we'd be sitting here for a whole fucking weekend. Okay. So,
Yeah.
that's why we put it in parts because it's easier to digest in parts You know what I mean? Like we could do all of these topics in one podcast. We could, but it'd be the longest podcast in the history of podcasts. Okay, so I just, you know, especially the way we communicate, because like we talk in examples, we talk in stories, we talk in, you know, real life scenarios, but then we also talk in, you know, in quotes. We talk in ways that we can relate what we're trying to say and what we're experienced to people, so they can relate to it in their own lives and then apply it. You know, so like I said, every single part of this whole series is important. Every single part. Because if you think about it in sequence, right? We had to start with gaining the confidence in order to look at this topic. Okay? Confidence in yourself. We then had to use the perspective of part 2 in order to view this topic. Okay? Right? We had the confidence. We then gained the perspective in order to view the topic. We then looked at our own lives when it came to being successful and also the failures in life and adapting to those things and bringing out the positives and moving on with that, right? And then in the 4th part, we then adapted all of those things we'd learned in the first 3 parts to the mindfulness that it took to start orientating those goals we need, okay? So that's the 4 parts, and it all leads us to here, which is the entrepreneurship of the future of your life, okay? So if you have incorporated all the 4 parts of what we talked about, and then you tie it into entrepreneurship, it's exponential. We just keep going. We keep going forward. We keep moving, okay? And I think the next part that we're going to have to tie into is going to be emotional intelligence. I think it's a great topic. I think it's something that all of you can relate to, and I think it's something that's going to basically just flow on from this. And And in saying that, I think it's a great time to finish. I think we basically summed it up perfectly. Ken, you got a quote for us to end the podcast?
So I don't know. Yes, I'll share one of the quotes, but I just want to add this. You hit the nail on the head. I think the emotional intelligence, which by the way, everybody happened organically, if you notice. Adam and I were having an organic conversation at the beginning of the podcast when we realized that, holy shit, emotional intelligence really could bring all of the episodes prior to today together. So that's going to be fucking exciting. I'm really excited.
That's how this whole series works. We have a million ideas, and every single time we start talking on the idea that we've just established, we come up with the next idea, because I'm telling you, this is a topic that we can talk about for years. Okay.
And I do have an ending quote, and it's from a book that has the word entrepreneur in it, so if that's very appropriate, right? Another one of the early stage books that I read was a book called Awakening the Entrepreneur Within, and I think I love this quote, guys. It goes, and this is a quote from a gentleman named Marty Sklar from Walt Disney, the EVP at Walt Disney. He says, I believe there are 2 ways to look at a blank sheet of paper. The first way is that the blank sheet is the most frightening thing in the world, because you have to put down that first mark and then figure out what to do with it. The other way is to look at it and say, wow, I've got another blank piece of paper. This is the greatest opportunity in the world, because now I can let my imagination fly in any direction and I can create all new things. I've spent a good part of my life convincing people that the blank sheet is the greatest opportunity in the world, and it's not frightening at all. I'll leave you guys with that.
It's beautiful. Ken, it's been a pleasure.
Always, brother. Always a pleasure. Thank you guys for hanging out and participating and engaging. Adam, thank you for fucking being awesome and putting all this together. Love you, brother.
Always, man. Happy Easter, everyone. Much love.
Take care. Happy Easter, everybody. Bye.